before you start, I'll do the introduction first. Is that okay?
All right.
So today we're here talking with Mr. Rod Ambros about reputation and character, and he is helping us with a project that we are doing, and the project is concerning young youth, particularly the ages and groups of juniors and seniors. We're talking to them basically about what their reputation and character means for them lifelong.
Good. Take one.
We're here today talking with Mr. Rod Ambros about a workshop. Sorry, I gotta start over. We're here today talking to Mr. Rod Ambros about a project that we are working on. And in that project we're working with, the question is, how do we get young people, particularly juniors and seniors that are in high school, and the question would be, the subject would be reputation and character. And how we want to go about that is, what can we tell young people about how character and reputation will affect them throughout life?
Good. Now,
I'm here today talking with Mr. Rod Ambros about the subject of reputation and character, particularly talking about our youth, our juniors and seniors. And what I'd like to start with first would be an introduction to you, so we'll let children know what type of background you have.
okay, good, cut.
I'm here today to talk to Mr. Rod Ambros about reputation and character, particularly with our youth, with our juniors and seniors leaving high school, and what it means for them to understand that that follows us for the rest of our life. And what I'd like to start with is, Mr. Ambros, would you be able to tell us a little bit about your background?
Yes, thank you very much for being here, Angela and Javier. It is my pleasure. In my own background, which is I am the at-risk youth of yesteryear. I came through a turbulent background. I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. During the first part of the 1950s through the 60s, and then finally I arrived here in Arizona by 1968. But my education was a good one. I went to an all-white Ivy League high school in Chicago called Lindblom Tech, which was very effective at preparing me in the basics, education-wise, reading, math, science, and some of the other extracurricular activities. Today I am a coordinator for Project Brave, which is a violence education prevention program. And BRAVE is an acronym that stands for Bringing the Reality About Violence Education. And we do that in a number of elementary schools, junior high schools, and high schools around the city of Phoenix, as well as lectures at the various colleges in the city and the state. Part of our job, our responsibility, is to make young people aware of the problem of violence in society, in their own neighborhoods, sometimes even in their own homes, but certainly at their schools and even at parks or playgrounds. We will find that there is an inclination very often towards violence, and what to do to diminish or reduce the idea of violence characterized in our communities. Now, I will say that very often our conversation deals with self-esteem and building self-esteem, because it has a lot to do with being able to manage or control the anger that leads to violence. And that management is also important in defining character. Uh, I find in my experience that character is the very foundation of a young person's values, their morals, how they conduct themselves, how they make the decisions that they make. And character is, apart from a religious foundation, still an aspect of morality. So, since character is based on six principles developed by the Character Education Foundation called Character Counts, and those six pillars are so important to the growth of every human being, actually. And young people should have them reinforced every day. And they should themselves invest in their own understanding and education about character. Character is not personality. And there are plenty of people in our society that confuse personality with character. Personality has a lot to do with your specific tastes and appetites, kind of foods you like, the kind of music you like, the kind of dance you like, the kind of movies you'd like to go see, the kind of clothing you wear, the fact that you laugh a certain way, you walk a certain way, you talk a certain way. All of these things are unique, and they define and make you distinguishable from any other human being. Character is quite a bit deeper. Character deals with a person's capacity to be trusted. It deals with a person's integrity, personal integrity, being able to make your word bond, you might say, being trusted because you're fair-minded and that you have demonstrated that you consider other people. It has something to do with being selfless, to being generous and being helpful and being good citizens and all of the good things we'd like to connect to the doing of good. So character itself, when I'm training educators, and I will say this and hopefully not anger any of them, because I've taught facilitated many workshops with school teachers, and when I ask the question, what is character, most of them give me the same answers a lot of their students do, and it's always an answer about personality and not character. Very seldom do teachers actually are they able to define what character really is. And really, when you break it down, it is actually three components to character, and that is the knowing good, the decision to do good, and then the action of doing good. So in each case, it has to do with defining what is good and then choosing what is good over anything else. And it takes character to do that. It takes courage to demonstrate character. And so when we say character, we're often also saying courage, the courage to do the right thing or the good thing or the best thing. And it's not easy to do in a society where a lot of your peers are telling you otherwise. So I guess that if you have great character, it is just almost automatic that you're going to have a great reputation. Your reputation follows your actions, and your actions or your deeds are the product of your decisions. And when a young person learns that they have choices, they should also learn how to make them in relationship to their own character. And they need to always be questioning whether they can do something better the next time, whether they can be better. I'm often asked, well, how did you become a coordinator for violence education programs, and besides saying fate or destiny or something of that sort, I simply say that I was just trying to do good, and it sort of followed me, trying to do good. I also tell them that I'm 61 years old and I don't know what I'm going to be when I grow up yet.
Right.
We really, character is not old or stodgy or ancient or something that's not cool. A lot of times kids think that because you're using that kind of language that it must be some nerd or somebody that's not cool. But I think it's the exact opposite. It's very cool when you see a young person who has great manners, who knows what he wants or what she wants out of her life, and really becomes convicted to do those things. Because at the root of it, character already defines conviction. You have to have conviction, and that is the willpower to make those decisions and then follow that decision through. Sometimes that's not easy because the popular decision may be one that you don't like or it's not good. And you're standing against everyone who believes that it's popular. So it's really, as Dr. King once stated, it is not where during a time of ease or a lack of conflict that shows our character.